This is Duke University.
Is impact investing a game changer or a fad? The risk is it can be both at the same time. I think the impact investing model is a bit more mature domestically here in the US, and you have a bit more of a developed ecosystem. I think that's different in many of the international contexts, particularly when we were looking at India and elsewhere. The ecosystem wasn't as well baked. The rhetoric can outstrip the reality very quickly, and you can see all sorts of, if it's a fad, then people will adopt the terminology, the definitions, the language to suit their needs. But we really want to see a well-defined and well-resourced ecosystem. That seems to be coming together in the US, a lot of work yet to be done. But internationally, particularly in the markets like East Africa, India, Southeast Asia, there's a lot of work to be done. And that's why I think there's more work to be done, and it will be a fad if we can't do that. Everyone would like to have both social and financial returns at scale. I don't think that's realistic as yet. So being truthful about what you're looking for, if it's favoring the economic return, just be very open about that. And that you're open to the social impact, but your focus is going to be on the financial return. Whereas some foundations, they really are looking for the impact. And they don't necessarily, it's not that they don't want to see a strong business model, but they don't necessarily need to see a profitable model in some 10x return on that model. So I think that just an intellectual honesty among those impact investors on what they're looking for. I would like to see students that have been a part of an early stage enterprise, that understand what it takes to raise money and why you're raising money, to have that balanced perspective as you go into, particularly on the higher end impact investing, where you're going to be more and more removed from that entrepreneur. In terms of tri-sector leadership, now that I've been in all of those sectors, at the World Bank and in the quasi-governmental space, in a nonprofit, even though it was a new type of nonprofit with One World Health, and now starting my own enterprise with Simpa on the for-profit side, I think until you actually are launching your own enterprise, you don't understand fully the value of how you need to tap into all of those sectors. So in India, we were working with Simpa on energy. Energy is a public infrastructure, and there are regulatory regimes around it, and so you have to take that into account and trying to understand how you relate to that. At the same time, we have a social mission. We raised grant money early on to launch this for-profit enterprise. We have foundations that are behind us because they believe in the impact that we have. And so in order to have that discussion, keep that ongoing kind of dialogue with the nonprofit sector, and then push it forward and still understand that we have to have a business model that is profitable, that it grows only because we can make this profitable. When you're thinking about becoming a tri-sector leader, I mean, arguably those who have become they've zigzagged through different paths, and you can't predict what that path is going to be. And I wouldn't look to check off boxes. I would look to expose yourself to all of those sectors. And it doesn't mean that you have to have a policy job in your life, but work in an organization or a company where you interact with that policy function and understand and step into the shoes of that person to understand what their perspective is. I think that's critical. And so when you can work on teams that bring in somebody from the policy sector, and you may bring the business experience, the nonprofit experience, bringing that together and learning through that experience, I think that's the key. I think the best advice, and I followed this when I was building Simpa in India, is quickly build a team. Find your co-founders. I was lucky enough to have 3 other co-founders, one of which was my classmate at Fuqua. And we were able to complement each other's skill sets and grow that way. So I think it's going out there. I think most people can have a great idea. It takes leaders to build a team around that idea and really grow. So and just get started. Get out there, either join a current startup or build a team around an idea that you have.